Straight to this one, because this is important for understanding the current oil market. In grain markets, we talk about stocks-use ratios. In grain markets, we talk about how much extra grain do we have around, and we're going to come to that in a little bit in corn. In oil markets, what we like to talk about, and the key thing to understand, is how much extra oil could we pump at any given time? How much extra capacity, pumping capacity. Not how much oil's in the ground. Not how much oil's in the ground, because that takes years to produce. How much, if right now we turn everything on, how much more can we produce? Now this chart shows the excess capacity that OPEC has. And the reason it's OPEC is all the other companies, so the BPs, the Texacos, the Exxons, all of the real companies, they produce all they can produce anyway, especially at $108 per barrel. All right? ExxonMobil is not sitting back going, do we want to produce more? I don't know. They're producing every barrel they can produce right now. It's the oligopoly that sits back and says, maybe we'll produce a little more, but not much. All right? So they have the excess capacity. OPEC, and this is primarily Saudi Arabia, has the excess capacity. So we go back and we look in 2000 and this run up from 03 to 08, what we had were kind of 2 million barrels of excess capacity. In 04 out to 08. Okay, at times even below 2 million barrels between 04 and 08. Now, this is the average, kind of the long-term average level of stocks. That's the number that the market's sort of comfortable with, is normal. And what we see is we're far below that. Okay, we're far below that. And the reality is, when we get far below that, that oil that's left, that more that can be produced, is generally low-quality oil. It's generally low-quality oil. So in Libya, all of its oil stopped being produced, and Saudi Arabia said, that's okay, we'll produce an extra 1.5 million barrels, we'll offset it. The problem is Libya produces some of the best oil in the world. Saudi Arabia, their excess capacity is some of the worst oil in the world. Okay, so it's not really a good substitute. Well, now right now we're using almost as much oil as we did 3-4 years ago. But we're at $108 a barrel instead of $150 per barrel. What's the difference? The difference boils down to this one thing. This year, we think we have about 4 million barrels of excess capacity. In 08, we thought we had about 1.75. We think we have over twice as much excess capacity in the world. Here's the problem. Nobody knows if we do. I'm sorry. Saudi Arabia internally presumably knows if we do. Nobody on the outside does. This is all taking Saudi Arabia's word for it. And there are more than a few indications that this number is exaggerated. If it's true that instead of having 4 million barrels of excess capacity, we have 2.5 million barrels of excess capacity. Instead of being at $108 per barrel right now, we should be at about $128 per barrel right now. Okay, if we're talking about back to 2 million barrels, even higher prices. This literally hinges upon, right now, the stability of the oil market hinges upon the honesty of the Saudi Arabian oil ministry and Saudi Aramco, their oil company. Keep that in mind, because if we get to a place where you have more supply disruptions and Saudi Arabia is not able to bring on capacity that they say they have, this market truly can explode, can go back to 2008 levels or even above. It's based solely upon this idea that there is a lot of excess capacity there, but there's no way to independently verify that. There's no way to independently verify that.